In the words of the legendary Lou Gellerman, hello, dog fans, and welcome to the Sound the Siren podcast because everything matters, including calling a spade, or asking the question at what point will Jed Fish win a notable road game against a good team? Maryland does not qualify. Washington State getting a little closer to qualifying given what they've done the last couple of weeks, but on one half of the ball in particular, what we saw last week, not good enough anywhere remotely resembling. I am your host, Hooligan7. I'm joined tonight by JCap and Big Hood, otherwise known as Hood Husky. Gentlemen, how are you doing this evening?
Doing all right. I'm chilling.
Very good. Very good. Share your sentiments, brother. Share your sentiments.
And we may be joined. We will hopefully be joined at some point this evening by the Darker Knight, potentially the Darker Knight in transit. But we'll start with beverages. Jacob, what do you got tonight, buddy?
I'm on that smart water again.
Nice. How about you, Hood?
So, not smart water today. I actually got a little wine I'm sipping on tonight, man.
Ooh.
A little cab, something light.
Some light.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Yeah.
Got a little wine turn.
So, my most recent two beverages were I had I think the brand is Rebel or RBBL protein shake on my way home from the gym, and then a couple of glasses of water right before we started. But I've been chasing my tail today, like or doing the ping pong ball, like here, there, just fast. Get this done. Get this done. Get this done. Get this done. So no special beverages for me this evening, and I think we'll probably skip Husky Couture this evening because I haven't had a chance to look. So we'll do a big Husky Couture segment next week. But I definitely think we do have one stupid tweet in particular. Jacob, you've got it up.
Yeah. It's Jason Everett 77. It was one of our friends of the show, friends of all of us on Husky Twitter. Posted a photo of his daughter in the shirt, and somebody had to go out there and insult a child's body on the internet, which is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And shout out to the fans of UW and Oregon and Washington State and Oregon State that all kind of came together and called out that behavior. There's no space for that in society at all. Like there's no reason to do that. So yeah, shout out to everybody for giving him his due online, and then he deleted the tweet and made his account private, and then deleted his account altogether in the span of like 5 minutes earlier this evening. So good riddance. Yeah, at Jason Everett 77, whose account doesn't exist anymore. Fuck the fuck off.
Bye.
That was wild, bro.
Yeah, and then there were very few Oregon fans that were co-signing on that, and fuck them too. But the majority of everybody was doing the right thing.
Yeah, if you think that shit's funny or cool, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Yeah,
come on,
exactly.
Thanks, bro.
So.
No, it's the internet excuses. It's the internet. Get up, bro. No, stop.
No,
like it's hardly an excuse in general, but that's a child. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about it. Not a ton of fun. A 24-7 loss in the Big House last week. Your takeaways, I will readily admit. We were talking about it in our group chat and our group text this week about going back to rewatch the game, and I said it to JCap. I watched the first a drive from each side, and I'm like, I'm not going to put up with this shit. I'm not going to watch this shit again.
Yeah. So
it was.
I watched it again yesterday, and it was very tough to watch, but it was really frustrating. mostly frustrating how winnable that game was for the first 2 3/4 of a quarter, and even into the fourth quarter. There are a few obviously miscues on offense and miscommunications as far as the interceptions go. One of them was just kind of a fluky play, that last one, but um, those other two interceptions are miscommunications. It's going to happen. Everybody has games like that, but the miscues on offense, the how frequently we were inside their 35-yard line and came away with only 7 points on the day is unacceptable. And we've been talking about it a lot over the last couple of weeks, the pre-snap penalties. And I said it on the last show, like the only thing that's going to hold us back is us in the pre-snap. And I think it was 3 false starts and a hold within their 40-yard line throughout the game. Obviously, there are a few different reasons for that, and Jed even touched on it in his press conference today that maybe there's some issue with consistency and cadence and that kind of thing. So, I mean, I don't know, but yeah, that's the biggest takeaway for me. I mean, you can say what you want about the defense giving up as many points as they did in the last 20 minutes of game clock in that game, but they were on the field for
doing anything to help them.
Exactly. The defense was on the field for like 13 and a half minutes in the fourth quarter. We ran 4 plays in the fourth quarter, which I've never seen a game like that before, where the offense puts up less than 5 plays of offense in an entire quarter of play. And it sucks too that second interception on the miscommunication to Decker, like we were moving the ball pretty effectively. We were in a position to go down and score, and we were down 14-7 at the time. We make it 14-10 or 14-14, and that outcome of that game is very different. But I mean, Damon's in what was his 9th start of his career, so he's going to have those games. It's bound to happen. Definitely, we're in a better spot today than we were 12 months ago, but it's still something that we could have easily come out of that game with a win, and then instead of coming out losing by 3 scores. So
yeah, man, I think I'm gonna start mine by just saying, giving a round of applause to the defense for sure. And not just this game, but even all the big games this year, or when they need to be clutch. Like they performed very well versus Ohio State. Performed very well, obviously in hindsight, performed very well versus Michigan. Round of applause for the defense, like you were saying, J-Cap. It's tough to have that time of possession kind of imbalance and not have any support for your from your offense, man. I feel like one thing that I have been steadily talking about with this is like just getting your quarterbacks in rhythm. And I feel like Sherrone Moore, Ryan Day have done a phenomenal job getting their young quarterbacks in rhythm first before trying to like make them be the star player or this, that, and the other. Like they're underclassmen. That stuff's going to come. Those accolades are going to come. And it does feel like we have kind of no identity on offense. It's either like the worst version of execution or the best version of execution. There's no steady Eddie, you know what I mean? There's no steady identity outside of like highlight backyard plays from Damon. So I think offensively, I was very disappointed. Last year, I watched every single game over and over again, full games, tried to clip highlights for offensive players, and it was the hardest thing to do. There were no explosives. It was just a boring offensive year. And this was the first game this year where I was like, Jesus Christ, like this is just, we might as well not even showed up to play. Like, now I appreciate how it could have been me, Hooligan, and J-Cap out there on offense, and we would score the same amount of points. But yeah, the biggest takeaway is the offense not having any identity, and the people responsible for play calling have actually called pretty good plays. I would say like after the first half, but I think they're not getting our quarterback in rhythm. And then I say defensively, just bowing up, and week to week, week in, week out, this is what we come to expect. Ryan Walters definitely kind of gives up untimely things, which we kind of need to get cleaned up for sure. The tight end thing, I'm not super concerned about. That's kind of a starting narrative. You kind of want your quarterback to kind of throw over the middle. You want the opposing quarterback to kind of throw over the middle, tips, overthrows, those types of things. You kind of want that. But I think the success rate has kind of changed since they moved, McLaughlin primarily off of tight ends. We kind of see the differences there. So, yeah, I'm not super concerned about the tight end thing. But defensively, I think we're going to be solid for the rest of the year. But so.
Yeah. I mean, and I was certainly disappointed, like, to some extent, and obviously USC has a bet, and their offensive line situation is much better than ours right now, given the injuries to Carver Willis and to John Mills. But I didn't think there was enough screen game, to your point about not, forcing DeMond to make hero plays. This is an aggressive defense. We talked about it a little last week. Lost Jake Cap there for a second. Hopefully he is able to rejoin us. But when you have an aggressive defense like that, and they're going to over pursue up the field, screen game, and that is something like, even with, I think, it's clear that, Jonah's not 100%. Adam is still a work in progress. I didn't see enough screen game in that football game by any stretch of the imagination to just give some things that are easier to set DeMond up for success. I don't think we saw, I don't know if DeMond was a little nicked up, but there was not a lot of DeMond run game after he went absolutely bonkers a week, It's just on the offensive side of the ball, just flat out not good enough. And I will go back to something from a roster management standpoint, and I don't necessarily know where to necessarily point the finger, whether it is a funds weren't, a donor and NIL and resource allocation standpoint, if we didn't have enough to put on transfer in the transfer portal at key spots, or whether we had the funds that were available and the coaching staff said, we're going to get Carver Willis and basically a freebie in Garion Hatchett. Like, Garion Hatchett was not, this isn't to disrespect Garion, but like, let's not beat around the bush and say that he was a, top whatever guard prospect or, guard recruit in the transfer portal. We know why Garion came home. But when your one primary you look at how bad our offensive line was last year, and it was not good. And your one primary portal addition, gets hurt, which it's the game of football. That happens. Look at where we are. And that's probably why Jonah has not, it certainly, feeds into why Jonah hasn't necessarily been himself the last couple of weeks, why he might be a little more nicked up. I'm old school that way. Like, you build out from the trenches, and obviously there's a tremendous amount of upside. This is not to say, and even if you add one more, particularly if you add a swing player, in my mind, somebody that could play guard, somebody that could play tackle in a pinch, or be essentially be your third tackle and compete for a starting spot at guard, you're in a much better situation when injuries come than you would be. Bro. It's just a roster management of what are we doing, and particularly, and actually, the one thing that I will say is it's also, this was not a flawless offseason in terms of some of the players that we chose to acquire. There's a certain skill position player that we put the full court press on, and those resources could have been used elsewhere, because no disrespect to Amari, but I don't think Amari is at the same NIL or compensation package that was offered to Jonte Cook.
Agreed. And then you go out and get Amari Evans and you don't even use him. Like, granted, he might not be some elite player, but you watch the Penn State film and he is an explosive player.
Plays.
He can make plays. He can get open. Like, we're not even using him. One of the weirdest things, Hooligan, is you watch all last year how they limited the offense and tailored it to Will Rogers. And then you watch, and they had an identity. They had to stick to that, or else they weren't going to be in games. Then you
Right.
transition into Damon, and it's like, we don't have no plan for Damon. Just said, Hut, you be the best player out there. Like, it's like how you go from like being this ultra, try to like, disciplined offense to all over the place. It's super weird, man. And to speak to the offensive line, you were talking about the offensive line. It seems like he's relying on development of his guys. It seems like he's really relying on that and trusting the fact that maybe some guys that are offensive linemen can play early, and including some of the guys we might be familiar with.
And that's fine, but to my mind, and if this comes across as a criticism of the player, so be it. But if you're going to trust your guys and you're going to build for the future, prior to the injuries happening, why is Gary Hatchett starting at right guard instead of Paki Finau, who had a great bowl game and is a key piece of your future? Like, and then in this situation when Mills goes down, like obviously you can shift Paki over and make the move, but like I have a hard time saying that this team is better. With a healthy John Mills, I have a hard time saying this team is definitively better with Gary Hatchett than we would be at Paki Finau at right guard to start the year.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and I would say, just to kind of not just bully the offense, I think defensively, while we're this really good bend but don't break kind of style, I think what Ryan Walters referred to it as like havoc plays, man. Like, I only really see Bryce Butler and Terrell Thompson kind of like getting off their blocks and penetrating. Unfortunately, there's not much laterally there for Ontario, so he kind of like struggles to chase down quarterbacks or cut off angles. Bryce is pretty good at it, but still a D tackle, at the end of the day. So, and there's a lot of, you look at the quarterback talent around the Big Ten, you can see why, he's tough to kind of chase those bad boys down. But outside of those two, we're not getting any consistent penetration or any type of pressures from edges. Anything like that. I think I hope I remember correctly, but Roman over at Locked On Huskies was tapped in with Locked On Illini or Illinois. And they were just talking about, they were talking about some of the weaknesses and stuff like that. And, oh man, I forgot the train of thought. I forgot the train of thought. Sorry.
No, all good. It happens.
Yeah. There he goes. Right on time.
Back.
Yeah. So just really a head scratching and certainly a disappointing performance all the way around. we could do purple helmets, but I think it's decidedly on the defensive side of the ball that are where there's some players that merit recognition in that regard, and a little less so on the offense.
Oh, really quick. Sorry. I figured I remembered it. So it was, he was saying that he expects Washington's defense to do some corner blitzes because apparently it's been getting Altmaier. And then I'm like, that's not what Ryan Walters does. Like, he doesn't do any of that. It's blitzing from the linebacker. So in my head, I do think the defense needs to be kind of critiqued in the fact that they're not super versatile with their pressure packages and stuff like that. A quarterback can only look at the front and be like, it's coming from somewhere here. So that was the Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting because, like, certainly, as we get into our game preview of Illinois is susceptible to pressure. Like, I was listening to the Split Zone Duo on my way home from the gym this evening, and like they were talking about, it's like if you look at his per attempt number or like per pass, like at Altmaier's per pass numbers, it looks pretty impressive. But like if you then factor in like the per drop back with how often he is getting sacked, like Illinois has a weakness on the offensive line, and we have to be able to exploit that, whether it's, with linebacker blitz, to your point, if we don't, often bring corners, but like, and I do think certainly part of it with the, the fall off of the pass rush is certainly like, I think the light had started to come on for Durfee, and then he had the injury, and he's, not, I don't think that Durfee's back at 100% by any stretch of the imagination. He's back, healthy enough to play, but, I mean, do we have any offensive purple helmets that we want to award, or can we just say that this one is we don't have a flush sound effect, but if we did from the offensive side of the ball, just
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I would still give a little bit of props. I don't know if he purple helmet worthy, but to Braden, I mean, he played pretty well in the first half.
yep,
So
yeah. I
I
think
give him
Denzel played
some
well.
love.
yeah.
Yeah.
Denzel did what
You know-
what Denzel does when given the opportunity.
I'm gonna give it to and glad he was able to get healthy quick. I'm gonna give it to Q Moore. I think at the end of the day, we saw that. I think I posted that he's really the MVP of the offense, because a lot of deep shots we take rely on Quentin Moore going one-on-one with edges.
Especially with Carver out.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
and we see how important Carver and John are to our offense, and when they're missing, how
that's the next lineman right there, looking like ASJ out there.
Yep. All right. Well, let's go ahead, and then on the defensive side, I certainly think that there's definitely some plaudits to give. Let me real quick, but I'll yield the floor to one of you gentlemen if one of you wants to go first.
I think Takario Davis played a really nice game. He had like two catches for like 5 yards or something like that on him. We didn't see them take a lot of shots to on either him or Ephesians, but I mean that's also just kind of Michigan's offense, and they utilize that tight end and or those tight ends and throw into the backs. So part of that is obviously the way that they schemed it, and also part of it is Takario and Ephesians doing their jobs to take away those options, because they have been getting McCulley pretty involved over the last few weeks. But Takario did a pretty nice job of eliminating the big plays on the outside for sure.
Yep.
I think I'll match that, man. Oh, go ahead, Julian.
Oh, I was going to say, I think Ontario Thompson had a pretty good game. He certainly, like when we were containing their run game early in the game, I saw him popping up a number of different times. And like, I think I don't really fault the defense for what happened. Ultimately, they got their yards, and Justice Marshall got to 133 yards. But over the course of the game, is 4.7 an ideal number, but given how much the defense was on the field, keeping them under 5 yards a carry is still doing admirable work. And if the offense had done literally fucking anything to sustain time of possession or kept us in the game, I think it looks like we were talking about. I think it looks significantly different.
Yeah, I think they scored 14 with like a minute or something left in the third quarter. Mm-hmm. Defensively, it's funny because the two people I had down was Ontario and Takario. And to be honest, I don't think anybody else deserves it. I feel like as a unit, they all played like shit on offense and defense as units. Or I'll say as a unit on offense, as individuals on defense. As a unit, I think they played really well. Ryan Walters and Jason Calfusi are going to get my purple helmets. Nobody on the field. At the end of the day, like I understand that, that's kind of the segment, but I don't think anybody earned that. I think Ryan Walters had to compensate for personnel this game, and had to kind of take some L's that just look kind of egregious on conversion downs. Kind of our guys getting beat one-on-one by tight ends. And dog recognized dog, man. Mikhail, you my dog, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's tight end 3, tight end 4, bro. Like, there's got to be a mentality where it's like, I'm sunning you today. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm this is my rep, etc. So yeah, I give it to Walters and Cal Fusi for sure for prepping that front to be able to, you know, deal with banging on that wall with Jordan Marshall. So
yeah. I mean, and I think that's the other thing that's, you know, particularly disappointing to me about this game is that Michigan was missing their biggest offensive weapon.
And then lost their like left tackle, bro. Like,
and yeah, exactly.
Right tackle. Red shirt freshman comes in. First thing I'm thinking is, oh, that's food. We're gonna send something at them, confuse them, shake them up, rattle them up. We didn't do nothing but allow their freshman quarterback, their freshman left tackle, you know what I mean, to get comfortable. We didn't do nothing to speed them up at all, bro.
Yep.
So,
I mean, it just felt in a lot of ways. There's times where it's just like, okay, if there's a little bit of adversity, our coaching staff just like, well, I'm not going to really get into my bag. I'm just going to say, you know what, we'll take the L and move on. And it's just
you see that? You see it?
I mean,
me and you said something ridiculous about Kalen DeBoer. What we were saying, like, he's got this like sociopathology about winning. Like, it's weird. Like, he'll do anything to win. And in my opinion, Jed don't have that. Jed rather create relationships and be nice to his players than win the game. Like, he's not going to do everything to win the game. He's going to do it how his players want to do it, you know, or how he wants to do it.
Yeah, I mean, like there were times with Kalen and with Grubb that it went too far, where like they were so convinced that they were right that what they were doing wasn't working, and they didn't come off of it. Or you know, some roster management questions running back in 2023. Getting somebody other than Dylan Johnson some reps. Shit, might have been an idea. But
that's what we're dealing with now.
I mean, and like if you know, to briefly before we get into big predictions, I kind of wanted to hold on, we lost Hood there for a sec. I think it's working again. But the one thing I was going to say is, you know, like, you know, obviously the coaching carousel is starting to accelerate. Obviously, our current head coach has not done anything to definitively say that he's not looking around. But the caveat that I would say here is, you know, and why I'm not particularly worried about it as it stands now is like, what has Jed done at the University of Washington that says Florida, Penn State,
exactly,
which are the only two bigger jobs currently available in this carousel, where he would be.
UCLA is the one that was officially rumored, which is weird. That's crazy.
Okay.
Bro.
Okay.
That's crazy, bro.
You leave for UCLA, Jay. Good luck. Have fun.
Sounds good. It sounds good.
That you know, that Westwood lifestyle, fine. Go have fun. But like Florida, no. I will say the one thing that I will. Yeah, I know it's very, 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 very unlikely to happen, but I do think Dan Lanning going to Florida would be hilariously funny.
Ooh.
Because Willie Taggart went to Florida State, Mario Cristobal went to Miami, Lanning to Florida would be the would be the trifecta, which would be funny, but I don't think it's happening. I think we've got to deal with Dan for a little while longer.
Oh yeah, fact. Hey, I think
Dan, Tony Montana Lanning.
Oh shit! I think Fish spoke about it today. Softy said that he was quoted saying, so he asked Fish today about how he responds to people who think he views UW as a short-time stop before leaving another gig. Quote unquote, it's frustrating. I'm not in control of that. I think it's a credit to our players that we're playing well in year two and people are noticing us. That's all it is to me. It's literally people noticing what Washington Husky football is a really good brand and a program. It's certainly not a stepping stone. That alone is what I tell everybody. I don't know what anyone's talking about with rumors and innuendo. Nothing has to do with the truth. That's probably the first time I've ever seen him say anything like that.
Yeah.
And even that's not super committal.
And it's not. And what he said
I mean, you have Dan Mullen, who's not exactly the world's most honest person, but he said, like, I flat out will be our coach, will be the coach at UNLV next year.
Yeah.
You can do that. Or Dan Lanning doing the same thing about Oregon. Like, and I'm sure people got in his ear about, because, bro, his first response yesterday, day before yesterday, was wild, bro. It was literally like, I don't know, maybe, kind of, maybe. That was crazy. And then CJ Lavender flipping, which had nothing to do with the interview, right? But then just the optics of like your interview, that happening the same day. Obviously, you're going to have, weirdos online taking that to be connected in some type of way. So now you got narratives. I bet somebody was like, bro.
Weirdos online? I can't.
I can't.
No way.
I can't.
All right, but let's go ahead and move into big predictions, and we'll start with the resurgent UCLA Bruins traveling into Bloomington. Indiana is a 25.5-point favorite. Indiana is currently ranked second in the country. It is a 9 a.m. game on Fox. Indiana, again, a 25.5-point favorite, over under at 52.5.
Over.
Bloomington? Yeah.
Over, but they don't cover.
You said 24.5-point favorite?
25.5.
25.5. Yeah. Over and they don't cover. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think over, and I think they are. Yeah, as good as, and no disrespect to UCLA, they are truly resurgent. And 3 weeks ago, where we were like, "Yep, you know what? I'm going to retract my statement about us about worrying about losing to UCLA and Westwood. I'm back worrying about us losing to UCLA and Westwood for damn sure."
Mm-hmm.
But Indiana is a different animal than they have played this year, by orders of magnitude on both sides of the ball. Yeah, Indiana gets this done and covers.
Yep.
I think UCLA scores some, but I don't think, I don't think they've got enough in the tank for this one. Moving on to the battle of NUs, that is Northwestern at Nebraska, 9 a.m. game on Fox Sports 1. Nebraska is a 7.5-point favorite. Over under on this one is 44.5.
In Nebraska?
In Lincoln, yes.
Okay.
Nebraska being led by potentially straight up, or with the points. 7.5. 7.5.
Shoot. Yeah, I got Nebraska winning straight up.
Or Northwestern.
Northwestern.
Yeah, I'll go Northwestern as well.
Yep. This has a weird feel, like Nebraska's waiting for their little.
Well, they're a little they're a party paying attention to the carousel right now, because Penn State's athletic director is one of Matt Rule's best friends. So I'm going to take Northwestern as well. Yep.
Dylan Raiola in a Penn State uniform might unlock new levels of sport hate for it. I've never seen him.
Dog, I'm telling you, bro. That's going. I was just like, bro, for his bag year. Oh,
well,
that's
and
fire, bro.
Well, and a key piece of this game is also like Northwestern actually can rush the passer. Yes, I can speak English good. Can rush the passer, and Nebraska is having a hard time protecting the passer. So that's a piece of
passer is not mobile.
Yes. A 9 a.m. game on the Big Ten Network. Rutgers into West Lafayette. Rutgers is a 1.5-point favorite on the road. Over under on this one is 58.5. I'll go first. I think Rutgers wins and covers. Certainly, I think the ceiling or kind of the level for Purdue in year one under. God, I'm just fucking blanking on their coach's name.
Yeah.
Barry Odom. There it
is. Yeah. Barry Odom. Yeah.
Just took a couple of seconds for those synapses to fire. Well, they're better than I thought they would be. I think Rutgers on offense has way too much for them. I'll take the under, but not by a whole lot. I still think Rutgers probably gets into the 40s.
I agree. I was actually thinking that those points make it seem like it's an exciting game. You know what I mean? Like kind of some type of tug and pull. I do think it's more tug and pull than you were saying. You said Rutgers gets 40. I think, one gets high 20s and the other high 30s.
Bruh.
Oh,
Bruh. No. We're not letting that go.
I was dead serious too. I was looking in the sky.
Tug and pull is crazy.
We even got our dog on here, man. Look, so I was trying to shout the brother out. It's the wine, bro. I'm telling you. It's the wine.
There's way too many episodes of this There's way too many episodes of this podcast when we're all sober, and that level of conversation still happens. So, sorry, you can't blame the vino.
Man, see, you right and left, dog on it. Yeah, you know who I got? Not Purdue. I think
all right,
Purdue.
Yeah, I'll go Rutgers as well.
All right. We will skip one of the 12:30 games because it's the one that we will cover in depth later. Moving on to the other 12:30 game, which I think is the battle for the Floyd of Rosedale, which is a pig. And that is the Minnesota Golden Gophers traveling into Iowa City to play the Hawkeyes, who are a 7.5-point favorite. Over under on this one is 39.5. And this one's on CBS.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, I do too. I like Iowa, I like the points, and I like them to cover.
I think they cover. I think it's I'll take the Hawkeyes.
Shout out Darker Knight.
Yeah, like what?
Just putting his picks in the chat.
Nice. There we go.
He's here.
He's here.
He's just the darker right now.
Yeah, I like Iowa to win this game. I think it's the under, and I don't think they cover. This is, I think, going to be a defensive struggle, but this one feels to me like it's going to be like a 17-14, 20-13, 20-17 slugfest. Of note, there is not a game in the conference on our favorite network this weekend.
Boo.
So moving on to a game that will not be entertaining because it will not be close by any stretch of the imagination. I'd love to be wrong because it would be the funniest fucking thing to be wrong on this one.
On this one,
and that is the other UW. That is the Wisconsin Badgers traveling into Eugene and Autzen Stadium. Ducks are a 31.5-point favorite, over under at 44.5. It's 4:00 on Fox Sports 1. I'll go first. The Ducks are going to cover the over under number all by themselves. I think they will cover. Yeah, this is going to get really, really ugly.
Thankful.
Yeah,
it's going to be crazy, bro.
Did you say it's 44.5?
The over-under is 44.5.
That's so disrespectful. That's so free. Oregon might break 100. That's so disrespectful.
Look, we just need the fighting Luke Fickles to not have Luke Fickle as their head coach by the time they get to us. I need that to be an easy dub. Actually, maybe I need Luke Fickle.
No, you need Luke Fickle there. Yeah.
Because we don't need UCLA Jerry Neuhauser shit happening on our watch. We don't need that.
Yeah, I don't think that. Well, and from the vote of confidence, vote of not, that like they didn't say anything. Like they really weren't definitive about anything. It felt to me, or from like what I've heard, like I think Wisconsin is going to make a decision, but they're going to make a decision after the season, if then, and they're non-committal. Like so, I think they're looking for they're shopping for money right now, and if you're shopping for money, you're not firing a coach with a buyout, even with as bad as it is right now. Moving on to Michigan and Michigan State. Oh, sorry, did we get everybody on that? Yeah, we were all were all in on that one. 4:30 on NBC. Michigan traveling to NBC. The Wolverines are a 14.5-point favorite, over under 47.5.
I don't know. I'll go with Michigan here.
Michigan wins. Michigan covers. Things are not going well for Mr. Smith.
Yeah. I never know with these in-state rivalry games, even if it's seemingly one way or another. I always think something weird can happen. But you're on mute, Hood.
I'm an idiot. Ann Arbor or East Lansing?
It's in East Lansing.
Oh, Michigan State, man, come on, stop playing with me. Michigan State, they win by 2 possessions.
That's
2 possessions.
That's a bold.
It'll be 9 or more.
That is a bold prediction with how Michigan State has looked. The Spartan fan base is not particularly happy with Mr. Smith right now, so that would be
that's a personnel problem,
which he's responsible for. So, all right, moving on, and we hate to talk about this conference, but we're going to talk about this conference because they've got 3 ranked on ranked matchups this week. And we'll start with number 8. Let me find it here. Give me 1 second. Number 8, Ole Miss, off the loss to Georgia, traveling into Norman to play number 13, Oklahoma, who is a 5.5-point favorite. Over under on this one is 51.5.
Did you see the get-in price for this game is only $22?
21.
21 now? At Oklahoma is crazy.
Bro, this is a fire-ass matchup.
It's a good game.
21 points. Or $21 to get in the door.
It's dark night. This is a weird college football, bro.
Yep. But then on one of the other bonus games that'll be coming up, the get-in price is stupid.
But I'm taking Ole Miss.
You're talking about Auburn and Arkansas for $11, right? You should pay me $11 to watch that game.
Bro? Are people just not going to games this year? People are not going to games this year.
But give me Ole Miss. Back to the picking of the games. Yeah.
I'm rooting for Lane Kiffin and Trinidad Chambliss, bro. That's his first name? What's his name?
Yep.
Trinidad, yeah.
That's a cool name.
Chambliss. Yeah, I'll take Ole Miss as well and a bounce back, and I also think it's important because Mr. Kiffin wants himself out of Oxford, and for him to get out of Oxford and make some gains or make his way to Gainesville, he needs to keep winning. So give me Ole Miss. But I don't think this one hits. I think this is the under. I don't think the two teams combined to get to 51.5, particularly with as good as Oklahoma's defense is. Ole Miss, while not able to rush the passer, has some chops on defense. But let's move on to the next one. This is the one I think you were talking about in terms of a stupid price, because I don't think they have a big stadium because they don't exactly have a long, illustrious history of being successful in this particular sport. But it's number 15, Missouri, traveling to number 10, Vanderbilt. This one is a 12:30 kick on ESPN. Tickets can be had as low as $200, more than getting into Ole Miss at Oklahoma. Vandy is a 2.5-point favorite. 53.5 is the over.
What has the world become when I'm picking Vanderbilt to win football games? I got Vandy. I got Vandy covering for sure.
Yep.
That's a team that I would love to play on. Like just all grit and experience and dudes that just are you can look next
Great
to left
roster
and right.
management, great talent identification,
Bruh,
pulling kids up
it's
from a lower
similar.
level, and
It's like Indiana light a little bit. You know what I mean? Like obviously at the
Mhm.
highest level, they're not gonna be able to do X, Y, and Z, but when you're in college, the one thing you want is like win, lose, or draw is that brotherhood. And Vandy's fucking team last year and this year, they gonna have shit to talk about for the rest of their lives, man. I got Vandy.
Yep. Same.
Yeah, I'll take Vandy as well. I think this is going to be a good game. I think both of these coaches are really freaking good coaches. To be honest, no disrespect to Drink whatsoever. And the final ranked on ranked game in the SEC is the cult known as Texas A&M, the number 3 team in the country, traveling into face number 20 LSU and Brian Kelly's fake Southern accent. He also fakes being a good football coach. So the Aggies are a 2.5 point road favorite. 40.
Oh my god, dude.
I'm doing the Brian Kelly impression. I didn't have that on my bingo card, but I'm glad it happened.
Oh, it's so good.
So the Aggies are a 2.5 point favorite over under 49.5.
I definitely got the Aggies. I think the narratives about recruiting classes and stuff after this year are going to take off because I think Texas A&M is a genuine natty contender after having multiple high classes in a row. Yeah, I got Texas A&M and to cover as well.
Yep.
LSU's not consistent right now. Their quarterback or bust.
Yep. I think the Aggies win by double digits. I think this is probably like a 2-score, easily a 2-score game. Oh, by the way, that's a 4:30 game on ABC. But moving on to the 12:30 game on the Big Ten Network, we do get a 12:30 kickoff, which is nice. It is the number 23 Illinois Fighting Illini coming into Husky Stadium. Both teams are 5-2, 2-2 in the Big Ten. What do we think about this one?
I think it's the primary. I think it's the game for us. That's the differentiator between whether or not we're genuinely in tier 2 right now. And it's not about winning or losing. Like the Michigan Ohio State game, I would have loved to if it was a 35-27 game and it was exciting and we showed promise. Those are different things, right? So, I got us. I'd say by give a score. I say like 28-24. I think the offense kind of sputters out the gate like it has before, but later in the game kind of pulls off. I think the biggest thing in this game is going to be experience. Luckily we're at home, but I think Illinois has a huge experience gap here, and so I see them executing at a high level. But I do feel like at home, we're probably gonna have the stupid early penalties and whatnot. But at home, we just click at a different level on offense. Obviously, outside of Ohio State, we click at a different level on offense. So I do think we're gonna like close on them late. They might get up on early on us, and then we kind of like solve a lot of those or answer a lot of those questions about the resolve of us. You know what I mean, in the fourth quarter or whatnot, and then get kind of some conversation about being in that second tier. So I think we definitely, and I think also too, as far as game narratives, Darker Knight says we start slow again. I think game narratives are going to be after this game. UW is hot and cold, but they're real. So I'll say I think that's the narratives after this game. UW is very hot and cold. I think they're going to use the brand of Ohio State, the brand of Michigan, even though Michigan is not necessarily a great team, but the brand of both of those to be like, look who they lost to. So I think after this game, you start to see some of the love that we probably would have got after beating if we ended up beating Michigan. So yeah, start slow, finish strong, at home, big dubs.
Yeah. I mean, I would kind of echo that. I mean, this is definitely the differentiator game. We don't see, I mean, obviously, like we had talked about a little bit earlier, the UCLA game is kind of a lot bigger now than it was a month and a half ago. But outside of that one, we have this game against a ranked Illinois team, and then what, Wisconsin, Purdue, UCLA before we play Oregon. So this is going to be kind of that biggest test leading into this last bit of our season for sure. Really, it's going to come down to just what we talked about last week too. Whether or not we can keep ourselves from continuing this trend that we've had under Fish so far, being able to move the ball really well between the 20s and then not being able to capitalize in the red zone and inside the 40, and these really bad untimely penalties that knock us out of field goal range or knock us out of scoring any points. I want to see what Demond looks like against quality opponents at home too. Obviously, no disrespect to Rutgers or anything like that, but we saw him kind of play really, really well against some lower level opponents, but to play against a ranked Illinois team at home is going to be a really good measuring stick for us moving forward. But yeah, I think that we will start slow again because for whatever reason, it's just been a thing that we do until we can prove that we're not going to do that anymore. It was going to be my bold prediction going into the game that we would score an opening drive touchdown, but I don't see that in the future for us this week. But we'll see what happens. But I agree with Hood that we're going to be in a less than a touchdown game. I have us at 27-23. You're on mute again, Hood.
Nah, I said there we go again. I think you're fuck. I hate that. You're nail on head. I have 4 touchdowns, and then for us, and then for them, three touchdowns and a field goal. So I mean, you're kind of a little bit more field goal in those time in the red zones.
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust us to continue to, or I don't trust us to convert in the red zone. I mean, we're a lot better at it at home than we are on the road, but
bad in general though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been a thing, like I said, since Jed got here to not be able to cash in those red zone opportunities in the end zone. So I mean, we're going to be a field goal attempt heavy team. Whether or not Grady puts those through the uprights, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a team that can be had on, particularly in the passing game. They're giving up 240 a game, giving up, let's see, it's over 7 yards per attempt, over 11 yards per completion.
Ignorance.
Bro. What are we doing?
Shout out to the Darker Knight in the chat. We miss having you on the stream.
My goodness.
I like we got to get after the passer. Like they, to Darker Knight's point in the chat, this is not a good pass protection team. Altmaier's been sacked 23 times. Whether it's exotic blitzes, whether it's our front four or front five getting home, we have got to get to the quarterback, make life a little easier for the corners. By no means are we a great pass defense either. Right now, we're giving up 234 yards and change through the air, which we have to improve on. And I think some of that, obviously, we have to improve on with just the offense keeping the defense off the field by actually putting pressure and scoring touchdowns and not saying, hey, look, we're in the red zone or we're in the orange zone. And hey, look at my foot. Let me blast the shit out of it. Certainly, again, a great point by the Darker Knight. Obviously, the potential that Carver Willis and John Mills might play in this game. Please.
Bro,
I will feel so much better.
Face, bro. Clip that. He said, please. Please. Yeah, please. Didn't it look so beautiful? It looked so, Carver and Drew, and then randomly the flashes of John, like damn near one of the best guards in the conference.
Yeah, it was. We were in great shape. It was looking very, very promising, and then, and then injuries.
The Big Ten happened,
and then the Big Ten happened, and lack of roster management, like we talked about in the previous segment.
But then to see, I'll go. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was done with that thought.
Well, no, but just to see Jed sit there in a press conference year 2.5 now, being like, yeah, man, it's wild. I didn't have any possessions this game. Man, duh. Like, Michigan sucks. They have to run the ball. They have to time up possession. How did you not know the whole goal of their game plan was going to be to sit on the ball? And anyway, moving into Illinois, the primary difference I think here is that Illinois can do both. They can pass the ball because they have weapons, and they can run the ball because they're relatively deep. I wouldn't say anybody other than Khalil Valentine's an NFL guy, but they definitely got some above average running backs. They're 3 deep there. They're 3, 4, 5 deep at wide receiver. As far as like functional guys, you know what I mean? As far as guys they can target. I forgot number 0's last name, but that boy is going to give a lot of these dudes out here some problems. He's a bigger kid, going to be physical with Prysock and Sicario, and they're going to target him regardless. It's going to be everybody else. It's going to be how Leroy Bryant, how Rashawn Clark, Alex McLaughlin deal with Hank Beatty, dangerous weapon. How McLaughlin and Michaela Steen. I think the match for the game is going to be a Steen, RDA, and McLaughlin on Rusk. I think his name is number 85. I think he was a baller last year. Saw him last year. They call some really, really clever but easy throws in the red zone, man. So if ever they drive and get down there, I'm very nervous about them converting. So gotta stop. This is a team you gotta stop in the 20s. We can't allow these 3rd and 14 conversions to the tight end this game because it can get ugly at home, to be honest with you. So
yep. All right, bold predictions for this one before we circle back on the score predictions. Bold predictions and players of the game, offense and defense, or the prospective Purple Helmets.
Bold prediction. This game is going to feel not close, and it's going to be a 2-possession game. I think this is going to be exactly like the Michigan game last week in the thought process of USC embarrassed them, and as a program, they're not fucking with that. And I do think this is a little different than the Ohio State game where there was a little more respect for Ohio State. I think the Michigan is more like, what the hell did we put on film? Like, what did we just do? We might as well have not shown up. And so I do think Illinois feels a lot of that at home. So I do think that we put the BTA in this game.
Any statistical bold predictions, and then your Purple Helmets on either side for this week?
I am gonna say bold prediction is gonna be relative to defense. I'm gonna say this is a game where ZRS gets a sack, gets. Oh man, that's tough. You can't cooking me, bro. Somebody.
I like that ZRS sack pick.
That's what I'm saying. But I want to say something like a sack. I wasn't gonna say a pick, but maybe like a PBU. But just versatility, like so a sack, a PBU, a tackle for loss. So kind of gets one tick in a lot of the categories. Just kind of everywhere at all times. I think that's
and you want to talk about a linebacker that can stick with tight ends in the pass game.
Where is X Alexander? Anyway.
Yeah. JCap, a bold prediction for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go on defense as well. I don't know how bold a prediction it is when he's our sack leader already, but I will say Jacob Lane 2.5+ sacks in this game.
All right. I like it. All right. I will go on I'll go on the offensive side of the ball. And I will say, given their susceptibility to the pass, I'm going to say, give me an RVB first 100-yard game in his career.
Yeah, I almost went RVB first touchdown. He's been flirting with it, man. He's been
They've been targeting them.
Yeah, they have, and they've been manufacturing targets and touches for the freshman wide receivers. And Jed spent a lot of time talking about it in the press conference on Monday, which I feel like he just keeps talking about this trio of freshman wide receivers. So they're going to keep feeding him the ball, and RVB has flirted with big games and touchdowns a couple times now. So
So I will say that with the caveat that if Mills or Willis is back in this game, one but not the other, they're going to be the purple helmet player of the game on the offensive side for me. But if not, it's RVB. Or if both of them are back, I'll give it to RVB. So it's a contingent. We'll see. On the defensive side of the ball, my predicted player of the game, I'm going to go RDA.
I mean a forced fumble or you know what I'm saying, or a TFL.
Yeah,
I think I'll give
because Altmaier does not throw it to the other team very often right now. He's got 13 touchdowns and 1 interception, but I think RDA is going to have a presence in this game for sure.
I agree. Offensively, that's tough. I preseason felt like Illinois had one of the best secondaries in the country, and they went down a bunch of people versus Indiana. But I think their personnel is very, very underrated, and I think you see a lot of them succeed at the next level. So I don't think this is going to be a game. I think this is a game where Denzel might do his thing because that's first day 1, day 2. But I think they do a good job on Decker. I think they do a good job on RVB and Robud. You guys are going to be kind of surprised hearing me say this, but I need it, bro. I need it. I need an Adam Muhammad performance. You know what I mean? Like, whether that's in a screen game, whether that's the goal line game. Darker Knight don't believe me.
Hey, Kate Eldridge down for the year. Adam Muhammad is your fullback guy now.
Bro, I'm telling you, like, he is a throwback fullback player, bro. But anyway, I got him.
Taller Mike Tolbert.
Offensively, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's his, and he can literally, his physique, I don't know about weight, but he can pack more on, man. His frame can pack way more on. So, but anyway, I got him being my offensive. I'm gonna say gets 2 touchdowns. They give so many touches. I'm gonna say gets a receiving touchdown and gets a rushing touchdown. That's what I'll say.
All right.
For Adam. Yes. I need this one, Adam. I need this one.
All right, Jacob, did you have a
Purple helmet guys? I'll ride with my bold prediction. I'll give it to Jacob Lane. On offense, shoot.
This guy.
God damn. God damn.
That's real shit, bro.
Derailing the chat from not even on the podcast is crazy.
I can't say it though.
On offense. On offense, I'll go with Hooligan's thing of a contingent pick, but for a few weeks there before his injury, I had said that I'll give it to John Mills until he gives me a reason not to, and injuries were a reason not to. So if he's back, I'll give it to John. If he's not,
all right,
then
there's nobody on offense.
Hey. I'll give it to Dez Roebuck.
All right.
Yeah, bet.
All right, score predictions. We got 34-24 from the Darker Knight.
I said
28-24.
I said 27-23.
Yep. So you got a little bit more field goals in there.
Yep.
31-27.
You know what? You guys are smart men for assuming these field goals because we do not score touchdowns, bro, in good games.
We will.
But then Grady grows. I agree, bro. Anyway, I'm sticking with my shit.
We should.
I'm sticking with my shit. 28-24. We scored 4 tutties. They scored 3 plus a field goal. Let's go.
All right. Any final thoughts on this one before we call it a night?
I think we're good.
Offense, man. Please show up. Please show up early. If you guys show up early, you guys make the second half much easier. I promise you. The second half gets much easier if you decide to win the first half too. You can do both.
It is allowed. It's like telling the Mariners that they're allowed to improve the team in the offseason. Wait.
Oh, what? Shit. I wasn't ready, bro. I should have teared.
You could do a whole other podcast on that topic.
Darker Knight's right. Too soon.
I actually cried, bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for listening. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.